In my estimation, the most important part of this chapter are the discussions of the different methodologies, particularly the three structured methodologies and then the three or four more rapid, non-structured methodologies. It's important to grasp the differences between them and their relative strengths and weaknesses in order to understand the remaining material in the course, in my opinion. Now we're going to talk about project management tasks, and there are some pearls in here as well, but perhaps not as many of them. As the author notes, the project manager's task is not a static one. The project manager needs to keep apprised of how the project is going and to constantly make trade-offs, modifying one element which will require adjusting other elements. And probably the three most important objectives or visibilities for the project manager relate to project size, project cost, and project time. And of course, they're interrelated. That is, a larger project will cost more and take more time. Now, one of the primary responsibilities of the project manager is to deliver a project on time and within cost. In fact, those are the two primary objectives, goals, edicts, if you will, of the project manager. He or she is responsible for delivering what he or she said they would do, when they said they would do it, and within the budget. Sadly, this rarely occurs. Cost overruns are a way of life with especially large system development projects. As the slide notes, project estimation is the process of assigning project values for time and effort and for cost. There are a variety of benchmarks by which this can be achieved. One is by tying these levels of effort to the particular methodology in use. Another is by benchmarking it based on your experience with previous projects. And also you have to factor in the level of experience that your developers and your analysts have with this particular set of requirements and with the particular technologies that are being used. More relevant experience, of course, reduces the risk and is a good thing. There are different ways, of course, to make estimates. Typically, the estimates are fuzzier at the beginning and become more focused once ongoing progress can be evaluated. For example, one approach is to use industry standard percentages for the particular methodology that you're using. If it's known that on average, for example, that the planning phase generally requires 15% of the total project time and effort, then that suggests that once you get through the planning phase, you just look and see how much time it took, for example, exactly 4 months. And if you know that if 15% of the time was expended in 4 months based on the industry average, probably the total length will be 26.66 months. This technique may sound like flying by the seat of your pants, but frankly, it's better than nothing, and it works pretty well in general. Of course, to accurately assess how many man-weeks, man-months will be required, and once you've done that, you can get a firmer estimate of the cost because you know what these people's salaries are and what materials cost. There are a variety of ways that the author talks about. Now, the one that I think really is the most methodical and generally works the best is the last, organizing your project into a so-called work breakdown structure. Generally, the way this works is the project manager uses a structured top-down approach, first identifying the high-level tasks and then breaking down these high-level tasks into subtasks, where each step in a subtask is then broken down in turn and numbered in a hierarchical fashion. This results in a document called a work breakdown structure, and really, in professional practice, in my experience, serves almost always as the backbone of any sort of project work plan. To create a work plan, you have to identify the tasks, and it should be written down. It should be documented. So the project manager identifies the tasks that need to be accomplished and determines how long each one will take. This figure represents a partial work breakdown structure that we just talked about. Notice that it's what I would call indentured or indented, where the higher level tasks are identified as one, and they're broken down into smaller tasks. So in the design phase would be the third phase, of course. That's one, and then the major subtasks under that are develop database design documents, 1.1. 1.2, develop rejects handling design documents, 1.2. 1.3, develop OLAP design document, 1.4. Develop OLAP design, part 1. And then each of those 4 or 5 actually subtasks is further broken down. Staging database design for developing the database design document, staging the database design, suspends database design, and it identifies who's going to do it, how much time is estimated or allowed to do it, when the task will start, when it will stop, and then you continue to monitor the progress by noting actuals. So this document, which actually is the project work plan, is a consolidation of both the work breakdown structure, which contains the same information but not as detailed, as well as start and end dates for each of the particular broken down tasks. And this project work plan, of course, is one way, and it's better than no way, and it can be effective to manage the tasks that are listed in the work breakdown structure, which I guess we don't have an example of actually. But the work breakdown structure does contain some of this information. It has the task ID, the task name, the duration. It may not have the staffing information. It also will have, the work breakdown structure will have task dependencies. If one task must be finished before another one begins, it would be annotated on the work breakdown structure as well.